straight in with something different today. After being inspired by watching the TK Maxx documentary on bargain hunting in inverted commas in TK Maxx stores, and the video that George Ross filmed about his experience, we thought we'd show you our experience of reselling and buying to resell from TK Maxx.
When you say our experience, we've been doing what I guess a lot of people call retail arbitrage, if I can speak, for quite a few years now, actually, via TK Maxx, with good results, just knowing what to pick on when and why. So we thought we'd show you a little bit of what we do.
So first things first, we found some MCQ, which is Alexander McQueen's diffusion line, or like sister brand if you want. So it's like the cheaper, more like accessible streetwear. As you can see, the top price on those was £190, and they have them here for £48. Which, what do you think about reselling at that price point?
Well, as in reselling it at that price point.
Well, no. So from my perspective, £48 is a great deal on those. But because it's a smaller margin for us to resell, I would want quantity in those pieces.
Yeah, I'd agree. And the same with this top here is John Richmond Sport,
which is also a diffusion line. Top price on that was €90, and they only wanted 15, which is great. And they, as you can see from that, they're reselling for 40. So it's a slightly smaller margin than we like.
I think with a lot of the stuff they have in TK Maxx, they do have a lot of diffusion lines. And these are a pair of nudie jeans. I popped this in because a lot of people talk about nudie jeans, and to be honest with you, unless we can get them more kind of via other routes, charity shops, things like that, I don't think we tend to pick those up.
There's not great money in the used ones of those, so I suggest there's more money in tagged ones. But
for sure, yeah. Once again, more MCQ. Obviously, I find that TK Maxx has like waves of items. Mm-hmm. So this visit, we pick a few different Alexander McQueen MCQ bits up just to show you. Obviously, there's the exact polo, and they're going for good money. The other reason is if we sometimes add new or resale or retail prices as opposed to eBay comps, mm-hmm. because of what a lot of what we do isn't necessarily just on eBay.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes just because something doesn't sell on eBay or doesn't sell for a lot, that doesn't mean it doesn't sell elsewhere.
No, so we do comps across a multiple of different sites, including, I don't know, like First Dibs and Vestiaire, etc. This is a cool piece. This is a Raf Simons for Fred Perry, which when they were released, they were like flying out. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, this isn't the most fashionable piece I've ever seen, if I'm honest.
No, to be honest, this is quite I wouldn't go as far as say lame. That sounds strong, but
niche.
They did some very quirky, cool stuff. Because that's kind of the stuff Raf Simons is more known for. And this wasn't like necessarily a great piece. They don't go for a lot, actually, all things considered, but it was just something I wanted to show. And on that Fred on that Fred Perry vibe, here is Fred Perry by Nigel Coburn. Nigel Coburn is a British clothing and accessory designer. Quite a very, very famous one, actually. He recently did a few little lines with different people, Fred Perry being one of them. I think he did 4 or 5 different collaborations in kind of the space of 6 months. That was for £22, originally around about
£395 was the top price. So that's as you can see there from the sort of comps on eBay, there's 110. So there's a nice money there, but you have to consider and take out your, obviously, all your fees, shipping, etc.
And there's still a great profit there, but from for a lot of people, £22 into that seems great. Like you say, after fees and so on, it's still a really good profit. But I think you have got to be more choosy, and this is what we're kind of trying to show on this video.
There's a few like little tips and tricks as well as to shopping in TK Maxx that they did point out in the documentary. And one of the big ones is the numbers on the tickets.
Yeah.
And a couple of the items we've gone through so far, for example, the Nigel Capone was a number 2, which means that it was previously full price. So it's actually a true sort of off-price piece. Whereas the Alexander McQueens were ticket 1, which says to us that they are made for outlet. A number of high-end brands do make certain pieces for outlets. May it be just certain designs, or may it be certain they've done it in a lower like quality fabric, or it's overstock and they make, or it's really, really popular and they just make a bigger amount for outlet. For example, this would be an outlet piece. So it basically means it was never sitting in a full price store.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there isn't a resale price to it, because it still is MCQ, or Alexander McQueen's diffusion line. So there still is a retail resale to it. It would just categorically won't be as much as a full line piece.
Yeah. In the same respect, for example, someone like Flannels, they sell MCQ.
Mm-hmm.
They don't sell Alexander McQueen, they sell MCQ.
But they didn't sell those pieces.
No, that's exactly the point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bit like some of the Vivienne Westwood pieces they used to have in TK Maxx. Same kind of thing. You wouldn't find those in a full price store.
And I did find a bit that they flooded the market at that lower price point. Especially if people are picking up bargains, they're more inclined to sell them on a bit cheaper just to make a quick turnover profit. Whereas full-time resellers, need a little bit more meat on the bone, particularly when it comes to retail arbitrage.
Yeah, I agree. Also, if you have limits to what you can spend, and not because you can't afford to, but what I'm saying is, if you have a budget of what you spend weekly on your picking or kind of sourcing, I think retail arbitrage, specifically in TK Maxx, it's not necessarily a quick buck.
Nor is it cheap most of the time.
This is something I wanted to show you guys. So on this polo tag, the reason I picked these shorts up was because on this tag at the back, I don't know if you get to actually see it. Maybe I show you, maybe I don't. Maybe you can read it, maybe you can't. It basically says it says something about being part of the exclusive the Ralph Lauren exclusive. I can't remember the wording. Basically, what it said was,
I'm outlet.
Yeah. That it wasn't available. It was only available in specific stores, which basically says I'm outlet without being outlet. Mm-hmm. On a full price item, you literally just get the labels and that would be it.
Here we're showing you some different pieces from different high-end brands in the technology realm. I sound like I'm actually making a documentary. We tend not to pick up technology pieces, e.g. like covers, etc., because technology is changing so much. Most people have got like the newest of the new and etc. There's such slim money.
That's a Lulu Guinness piece. It seems like I'm being really bad there, but it was actually already open and busted open wide. I actually tried to put it back nicely. There's one going for £25. I think that was a few pound, wasn't it?
It was only £2.
Yeah.
Which obviously that looks like there's going to be great margins, but I don't know how long that case is going to be sitting looking for someone with an iPhone 7.
And that's actually what I was going to mention before we went onto those polo shorts earlier. Sometimes, although it might seem like a bargain, they go for a lot on eBay or different online websites. Mm-hmm. What you might find is it sits around for a while. So if you're putting a lot of money into something,
This is really interesting. So these are Moschino caps. Now these are tag number 1, so they are made for outlet. I suggest they are made for sort of this kind of outlet like TK Maxx, etc. It's not the kind of product you would find in their main store outlet.
Not at all.
In places like Bicester Village, etc.
And I'll be honest, I think the quality was quite kind of self-explanatory.
I do too, and it's not really Moschino, if that makes sense. Like it's not the Moschino vibe. It doesn't really fit with their brand identity, etc. Which makes me think they're like producing things that they think will sit well inside these stores like TK Maxx, etc. Did try one on though. They were £32 in the clearance section, and as Austin put in the comps, they are going for 92. Which obviously is a great profit margin. Once again, you need to consider your fees. You need to consider all those kind of things in that.
And how long that will take to kind of come back to you?
I think those caps are pretty cool, though, if I'm like, as a style choice.
Fair enough. So this was a Bricks, BRICS bag. They're known for luggage. They're known for bags in general. I think this one was 125 or 130. That one there, a comp is 309 new. To be honest with you, you can pick them up on eBay for like £50 now. For whatever reason, their resale has gone down.
I just think they're not really cool.
They're not cool, but I don't necessarily think the quality is amazing either.
No. It's very Longchamp-y. It reminds me of Longchamp in terms of like style, ethics.
Yeah, but it's like Longchamp nylon quality for Longchamp leather money.
You'll also notice a great tip, or it's not really a tip, it's just using your brain cells, is one of the first things we do when we're doing TK Maxx shopping is we do look for the reduced sections first, because that's where you're obviously going to accumulate the best deals. You're finding TK Maxx stores that normally the higher end design stuff is still rather expensive, and you really want to get those marked down pieces to really like maximize on your profit and your bargainous deals.
The TK Maxx TV program did mention like kind of smoke and mirrors, and I must say I'm pointing out here now, this is like Aroma Leather, I think, or something it's called, this brand, or something like that, with RL, and RL being kind of the same initials for Ralph Lauren. To be honest with you, there's a lot of these next to polo belts, and it was quite confusing. If you're just grabbing a belt for someone, I've got to say, there's a reason they have a big R and an L.
Well, it catches your eye, doesn't it?
Of course. And I think, listen, it makes sense. I understand what they're doing there, that's fine. But I think you have to be very self-aware and aware of product and brands when you go doing these things.
I find as well they make a lot of like staples. So like, for example, a lot of belts. A belt is a staple purchase for a man, really, isn't it? Whether you're suiting or booting or whatever. And I find they make a lot of what's the word? Their own make, and they have a lot of outlet specials in belts and things like that. Yeah,
even like some of these wallets, I didn't necessarily comp these because I'll be quite honest. Like the PS by Paul Smith is not a huge.
I thought that was a great deal, really.
It's a lovely wallet, and listen, for £25, like, you can't complain.
It's the PS range as well, just so you know. So it is the Fusion. That is a marked with a number 2, so that is off price. However, this Karl Lagerfeld, which is a lot cheaper to touch, it is a number 1, so that is a made to order. So that is a made for outlet piece, and it does feel a lot cheaper. It's not, the quality isn't there.
That's what we were talking about.
They're a bit more mass produced, if that makes sense.
It feels like a wallet you'd get in a normal store as opposed to a luxury store or designer store.
Yeah, it's very, but they have some great men's wallet options. And I think as well, like, come Christmas, if you're willing to like stock up and be like on the long hold, there's some great pieces, like especially the box Paul Smith. There's a card holder I'm going to pull out now. Those sorts of things for under the £20 mark and around the £20 mark, you're gonna make double your money at Christmas.
And don't get me wrong, guys, when we say these things, it's not because we're being snobs, it's not because we're saying, oh god, that's not this or that's not the other. It's just how we personally feel after doing this for so long, not just reselling but also being in the luxury market. Some things feel better quality than others. If you've had a really nice pair,
fact.
I was going to say, but if you've had a really nice pair of leather shoes, for example, and then you go back to kind of a cheaper brand or a cheaper brand, you will instantly say they were the best shoes I've ever had. And it's kind of like that for us. When you've dealt with all these different kind of brands and you kind of work with them daily, I've got to say you get used to that quality. So when you feel with something which is less than, it's hard to kind of say why that would be worth that costly price when it's not up there quality wise.
I thought I'd delve really quickly into the kitchenware. This is such a serious video. I feel like
we're doing TK Maxx, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like quirky durkies have gone out the window. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about homeware really quickly, as it's not our main field, but we wanted to point things out. Le Creuset is 100% made for TK Maxx. In their what I call proper outlets, e.g. their standalone outlet stores, which you'll find at Bicester Village, Cheshire Oaks, those sorts of places, they do have off-price pieces. So they will have like some of their collaboration pieces, they'll have some of their sort of like harder to get pieces, etc. But for TK Maxx, which we are specifically talking about at this point, it is made for outlet, hence the cheap
and
price.
just so people know, off-price is something which was in a full-price store at one point and now is older, so they sell it at an off-price. price.
Yes.
When Bethany says outlet pieces, she means pieces which are made, whether they're as good a quality or they're worse quality, or they're just slightly different in some way, shape or form, or different colorway. Those would be outlet pieces, which have never actually been in a full price store or on a full price website, but they are indeed in circulation.
They've been produced specifically for an off-price market. You will find like cool things like this KitchenAid, for example.
It's like what, £90, I think.
Yeah, it was off-price. I'm not quite sure actually at the full price on that. You're going to put it on comps in a minute, I suggest, because you're such a little handy monkey over there.
You saw it coming, didn't you?
Well, how much is it? 2 See, if
that was on sale as well.
If you're in the market, that's fantastic. But also, if you're going to resell, you probably, I don't know, 90. No, you're probably only going to make about quarter back, I'd say.
But even if you doubled your money, the thing is, you've got £90 in something you don't know how quickly that can sell. I know people are very big fans of checking kind of solds on eBay. I can't say enough. It's a great kind of guide, okay? But it's not the be all and end all. Whether you're buying, whether you're selling, I just think there's more to it than that.
I also briefly just showed, before we move on, I briefly just showed Joseph. And Joseph is another one of those kitchenware brands that TK Maxx have a lot of. When I was browsing just now, because I really like Joseph, I found it was a real mixture. So there were some off-price pieces, there were some made-for-outlet pieces, and there were also some, what did you call them? Stowaways or hideaways or foldaways?
Basically, they put them away seasonally. So, for example, some of these would have been brought out from last year.
Yeah.
Some will be brand new for
this
year.
So if it has a number 7, it means they were like, they either had them last year, they didn't sell and they've rolled them over, or they bought them in mass in the winter and they're putting them out now.
These are John Richmond slides, usually quite expensive, full price, 127 it says there. They were going for 60 on eBay and they were £20 in store. Once again, whether you're buying for yourself, bargain, whether you're buying to resell.
Well, it depends what your margins are. If you're going for quantity and you're going for
you're
going for like a smaller profit margin, but you're doing lots of those transactions.
Yeah,
that's fair.
The other thing is as well, if you want to do a bit of both, I always say whether you're buying for yourself or whether you're reselling, you could buy those, wear those slides for like, I don't know, 6 months and then still sell them for more than you paid in the store. Yeah, that's true also. Which is a good way of doing it if you're into this stuff yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not
very
just a
interesting. I love the shoe section. However, it was dry as the Sahara Desert. A lot of like what I call
a drought.
Dupes. So like,
yeah, I was just looking. So they're Birkenstocks. Previously were the Gucci shoes, which were really popular last year in that lilac color. Calvin
Klein's another big made for outlet brand, especially at TK Maxx. They just have a lot of pieces, mainly footwear, don't they? That's sort of made for outlet.
These are just crazy Reeboks I picked up. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I was concentrating on those patent leather boots. What I was going to say though was what I find with TK. Another thing about TK Maxx, not a negative, not a positive necessarily, but just an overall base. There's a lot of brands you may not have heard of. There are brands you might have heard of. Across the board, a lot of these shoes will just be kind of what I call generics. So that whether they're from like Zara or whether they are actually generic brands where maybe something you haven't heard of before and they may be popular in a different country or they've had them from overseas, whatever it might be. I just think you have to really kind of look. Sometimes you go in there, it's a gold mine. Like you said, today particularly, it was dry. These are they're called Reebok Pump Furies. They're a kind of a new twist on an old shoe. The original Pump Furies were sort of late 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, I should say. These weren't bad. They were like £70, but retail's like 120. You're not going to make anything on those. Particularly, they're probably 80 if you're lucky on Depop. But once again, if you're looking for yourself as a shoe you couldn't get hold of retail, it's cheap.
Another example, those ready made for outlet Calvins, pretty cute actually. They're very like 90s vibes. Found these are really super cute. John Galliano slides. You'll notice with shoes especially if they're from like the gold section, which is another TK Maxx thing. They'll have, if they're a pair of footwear, they normally write the price in gold on the bottom. See,
like these. Yeah,
that's normally
also to stop people taking the prices off or just kind of being just generally naughty.
gold label is something that is sort of exclusive to TK Maxx. However, not all stores have it. So this store is out of town. It's a smaller store, and it doesn't have a gold section. I find gold sections are normally like in cities. However, they sprinkle the gold section throughout.
But it's really cool because the stores with a gold section. And when we say that, there has a gold tag on it and a black and gold tag on it, so you know there's a kind of high end or it's a designer piece. Those stores who have specifically areas for those pieces, they are always kind of ransacked.
Yeah.
Whereas if they sprinkle through the store, it's almost like a charity
You've
situation.
Got to find it.
You have to find the gold, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. And also what happens is when it gets lost in that store, eventually they sell it off slightly cheaper or a lot cheaper in some cases, and it ends up in clearance.
Or they send the gold section clearance out to the smaller stores.
Yeah.
At much lower, like sort of lower set prices
than they were previously.
I also sort of think secretly in my head they sort of do that so they don't want to. So if you're going to Bath, for example, Bath store to shop the gold section, and you know it's going to go reduced down into the yellow tickets.
They don't want you to let you have that.
They sort of don't want you to like wait until the sale's on to be purchasing. They want you to keep purchasing full price.
100%, you're correct. Yeah. I was trying to give a bit more of a visual of kind of what was here, but to be really honest, they were just. It
wasn't the day for shoesies.
No, it wasn't. Considering there's so much, and you might see things you personally like, or maybe you won't see anything you like. It's just very hard when we're going in there for one reason and one reason only. We're very picky. The other thing I would mention is on the bottom shelf of all these, you'll see the clearance aisle for shoes. Any shoe aisle at all in TK Maxx, the very bottom shelf and bottom rows, maybe the bottom two, if there's lots of them, are clearance.
Right, we've head straight for the clearance rack of women's clothing, which is my personal favourite section.
This is the knits. Austin started with the knits. I don't know why, because the knits aren't very successful usually in
I love
TK Maxx.
knits, but yeah,
it's not a great place.
Hilariously enough, I'm in swimwear, so so always check your swimwear, always check your gym wear.
Swim and gym.
Because they normally separate them from like the main like women's wear section. So it's always worth checking because you find great things. Like I'm about to lob over at Austin.
Nothing like having bikini bottoms thrust in your face.
These are Roberto Cavalli bikini bottoms. I tend to want to buy in sets because they sell better than just a pair of bottoms because you've got to find a matching top. However, these were £12 and retail on these bad boys
were 167, I think.
160. They were current season in the sale. They were £12, which is an absolute bargain. But like I just said, it's a lot harder to sell a bottom without a top.
Yeah, I agree with that. Specifically in swimwear.
Because you've got to find one that match. I know it's very cool to like be mixy matchy. I'm full for the mixy matchy lifestyle. However, when it comes to reselling, it's just so much easier if you have matching.
I also think people buying those sets specifically are buying those sets because they like those sets.
Yeah.
Not just two piece, but as a set in one piece. If you know what
I mean, if it's cheap enough and you think it's cheap enough and you want to like go for it, then you go for it. You do you, Glenn and Coco.
No, I kind of meant on the. Oh, that's cool. So this Moschino Couture, once again, you saw the gold label there. This is in clearance. I think it was, how much is it there?
1,200.
No, how much
Top
was it
price,
now?
74, something like that.
There you go.
There's 74.
74. This is an amazing dress. One of the only things, to be honest, as much as that sounds like an amazing bargain, which it is, one of the main things which I was not sure about was the size.
Really quickly, can we just mention this because we go Zimmerman's a great brand. This is a set, £20, retail is 225, as Austin is kindly showing us here. Here's it on the outlet, which is an outlet website, for 123. However, there are absolutely zero comps on anything for sold Zimmerman sets.
Yeah, which is confusing to
Bizarros.
me. Yeah.
But back to the Moschino, it was a small size.
Yeah, so I was unsure. I put it in the basket anyway, but it was more the fact it was a small size. It's an amazing dress, and once again a massive discount. Whether you're buying for yourself or you're buying to resell, if I'm truthful, my only issue with buying that to resell is because of the small size. You are very limited to who would wear it. Not because there are not people at that size, but if you can get a larger size in that, you can wear it different ways for different sizes.
Yes. When we say...
which sounds really obvious to say, but a lot of people, they dress in a style as opposed to a size sometimes.
Yeah, and when you start going below a size 6, it starts getting a bit tricky.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
8 and above, I prefer, if I'm being honest. But I will buy any sizes, to be honest with you, because there is a market for any size. But yeah, you're slimming your market down, if that makes sense.
Excuse the pun.
Excuse the pun.
So this is just me going through racks, obviously. The other thing we wanted to do with this video, in comparison to other videos we do, or I was going to say shoot, but that sounds so professional. No, do. Is that not everything is a banger. Not everything is really, really good. Another classic example of outlet stock is just very, very cheaply made, just a black and white print, not great quality. True Religion on the top end has some great quality stuff. This was like...
We were discussing this earlier, like, it was cheap, but like, it's not so much that, is that you never find their jeans with the, the logo pockets that everyone wants or anything like that. You always find these like graphic t-shirts, etc. It's not, it's very obviously produced for a situation.
Yeah, as opposed to the quality.
Yes. Another great thing we learned from the documentary, in addition to what we already knew, is that a lot of these brands that you don't know, like the weird name ones like Cream and, Feather and whatever, they are made by TK Maxx themselves, and that is why they can put them down to such small prices. So you've got to find the gems within the sort of name brand.
I must say, I mean, who am I to say? But when I saw the documentary, and they mentioned the kind of the people on that documentary felt like they'd been hard done by buying these brands, and I can't believe I didn't know they blah blah blah. I've got to say, TK Maxx has never released a statement saying we don't sell anything apart from high-end design or really, really cheap outlet prices. They're allowed to sell whatever they want to in their stores. Simple. They do sell off-price. They do sell outlet. They do sell what is full full-price items for lesser money. I mean, I think they do what they say in the tin. It's just a little bit harder to find those bargains. And if I'm honest, if you find a top you love, or a dress you love, or some jeans you love, or some shoes you love, and you're happy to pay the price, pay it and enjoy them.
Yeah.
I'm saying a lot of this from a reseller's point of view, because that's what I do. But on the other side, as a human being, I think...
That's what we do, Austin.
It's what I do. It's what I do. It's what I do, not you.
If you want to do it by yourself, you can do it by yourself.
Oh, please, Lord. No, but you know what I mean? I think sometimes it's taken a bit serious. It's a retail experience. It's not that serious.
Ooh, what's that? That was low.
It's not that deep, as the kids say.
What is that?
I don't know. It was very... I think it wasn't folk.
That's nice.
I don't remember what that was, but I was checking it out. That's what I was doing.
I appreciate it, lady.
And this lady came in. She was very, very nice. I said, "Can I go straight through him?" She said, "Yeah, carry on." I think she rings more in a minute. This was the one I can never pronounce.
Majestic Finishers. I do like to find the knitwear in this. Knitwear does particularly well, especially cashmere, doesn't it? Always
yes, it does.
Yes, particularly well.
Well, across the board, most of their stuff does well, but yeah, their knits and their cashmere is even more so.
Yes. What's that say? £54. I don't know how much it was there. It was cheap though. It was 12 maybe?
Yeah, like 12, £11.
A lot of Zara as well. Zara does get reduced right down, so I would advise it if you're more into high street. I would advise you could buy mass of that and make really good profit margins on that kind of stuff.
Do you know the good thing I think about Zara personally? When I go through these racks, especially TK Maxx, I'm talking about now. Anytime I kind of grab something like just from sight, or that looks like a nice fabric, or that looks like a quality item, a lot of the time I get duped by Zara, and that tells me some of their items are actually really, really good quality.
This is wicked.
I love this. This is a faux leather jacket from Michael Kors, and you know what?
If it was leather, I probably would have gone on it.
I think it would have already gone if it was leather. It was really reasonable, even though it was faux leather. It was a nice quality. What was it?
39 was that?
Yeah, I mean that's nice. It's a nice fashion jacket.
That would have been an off-price piece as well, so it would have been previously full price.
Yeah,
I do find something in a minute. And look, there we are. I'm doing a happy run. If anyone has saw me do a happy run, then this is a cropped blazer jacket from
Bottega Veneta.
Veneta, isn't it? Viennetta. Top price of that was £1,965.
Look at that backless thing.
Newer tags, obviously. Sometimes they don't come with tags, see.
When Austin just puts it in the basket, you know it's over. Count down, that's it. Let's just have it.
Found that particular piece just sitting casually on the rail.
I had to come to this corner just to have 5 minutes for myself to look at it. Like, this is I dropped that bag, so I had to pick that up. Then I realised I need to look at it. I need to have a chat. I like to just consume them.
It's a very spectacular piece in itself. Sometimes they don't come with tags. They're just off price. But this was £39. You'll see an example of a gold label there. This was
RRP.
RRP was £1,960, and we found it for £39. Now, that is fabulous. And I would, this particular brand, and this is where brand knowledge comes into play a little bit. This particular brand, what have you got a comp coming up of something similar?
Something similar. I haven't got the same item, but this is something similar.
So like a blazer, white blazer.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bottega is on top of their game at the moment. It's a very popular brand. That piece is very classic in terms of, I mean, a lot of people find that me saying that quite funny because it hasn't got a back. But it is a blazer. It's a contemporary classic, if you will. I would look to sell that personally. I would start with Vessia probably, and I would look to get at least £600 to £800 for it.
Yeah, at least. These are Marge's reading glasses. You can kind of, when you have the kind of the lenses change, etc. They were $4.99.
The comps are great on those. I was looking at comps anywhere between 55 and 100.
Amazing. Yeah. Just to go back to that jacket very quickly as well, is that's the thing that once again, not only Bethany said about being aware of your brands. Being aware of brands is one thing, but what you also have to be aware of is that brand, thanks to like a few of their items, like their shoes, their pedal boots, some of their bags more recently, they've kind of been influencers' dreams. So that brand instantly gets eBayed more, gets Googled more, gets searched more, gets Depoped more. So when you have something that's contemporary looking, whether it's contemporary or not, but it's from that brand, which is very, very, very popular, by like anything Balenciaga, even from like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, instantly went up over the last 10 years. Yeah, last 5 specifically.
Bottega, if you're not familiar with the brand, would be the equivalent of finding Prada.
Yeah.
Or Louis
Vuitton. Even more so, because you don't find those things usually in what we call the trenches. But it was a really nice find. And once again, probably so expensive in the first place. They had like 3 of their clearance stickers on there before they got to 39.
Yes, and to be aware, the yellow sticker is the final price. So the yellow sticker is the dream sticker. So that would have, if it wasn't bought, that would have been reduced one time further. I cannot wait for that or risk the
We can't do that. My nerves wouldn't let me do that.
But yeah, that is the system they work on, I do believe. Umbrellas is a great thing to look out for in these kind of shops. Once again, they do, off price.
This was £20. They've had Moschino umbrellas for ages. TK Maxx, you've probably seen the teddy bear style, but this was a couture umbrella. Oh, was it Milano? No, Milano, which is cool. £20 an umbrella. It's you know what? It sounds really boring to get an umbrella as a gift, but I always think gifting things like that, £20. It seems like you've
made an effort.
Yeah, when really you just haven't. So I'm down with that. Speaking of which, what are you getting for your birthday? Brolly.
Bags in these sort of out of town smaller shops I find weak. I find really bad.
I'll pass.
We're gonna go to perhaps another TK Maxx soon and show you the difference in the accessory section, especially
in a city.
Yeah,
not in a city,
like
but
Bath,
in an actual
Bristol,
city.
You're gonna get the big names.
This was a zip clutch by Trussardi, yeah. These go for about £130, £140 originally. This was £40. Nice enough, but just not a brand which is like flying at the moment.
Now, there's a couple of pieces here, interesting pieces.
Can you spot it? Hidden on the right-hand side there.
Also find some I love Moschino, which is sort of the diffusion line. Super cute, made for outlet, but super cute. It's a nice price if it, depends on what you want to do with it. Box as well, which is a nice little feature.
Do you know, I do think that's a really good price for a Moschino
yeah.
purse. It is, isn't it?
It's just we're on the resale end, which obviously we're focusing on today.
I was having an issue with the security tag at that point. This is a different one. It's okay. I put it back now.
Okay, fine. But it's just the process of treating it very much like a charity shop in terms of resale.
Yes.
Of searching, you have to search. It won't just jump out at you. Like the next purchase, I have an eye for the weird and the wonderful.
You know what it is? Bethany picks up everything she sees if it's mental. And honestly, at first I was like, "What are you doing? It's a crocodile."
He murked me so hard.
I was getting annoyed. I was getting annoyed because I looked like she was playing with like a toy. She wasn't, obviously. That would be stupid. No, but where? But when you actually see, oh, this was cool too.
This is a Moschino bucket hat. It's really cool.
Yeah, it was nylon. It was nylon. That's a new fabric, nylon. It had a little kind of pouch there, which you could kind of put it into, which I guess for festivals and stuff would be really cool.
Yeah. I'd lose
attach
the
it to your
pouch.
bag. You'd lose your bag there. Never mind the pouch, but yeah, that was cool.
I'm still fiddling with the croc at this point.
The whole time when I'm looking for content for you people. Yeah, and Bethany is messing with the croc.
I think that's a cute hat though, yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
£154 on Farfetch right now.
That was 30.
It was.
So I put the croc down and then I quickly changed my mind. Did you see how quickly I changed my mind on the croc?
Yeah, okay, so let's see.
I can.
Well, let's just see. Did she go back?
There, yeah.
So then she gets me to have a quick look and I'm like, okay.
And when you touched it, tell me, it felt like a dream.
The leather was lovely. I'll be honest, I wasn't impressed by the zippage. The only thing is, there's this tiny little pouch inside. I'm trying to get the label out the best I can.
He's looking for the logo and he's like desperately looking for it. And honestly, we could not find the logo. But I was like, I know this is something special. I didn't find it
till I came home either.
Honestly, I was like, this is something special. I'm telling you.
So I'm
trying to find it online at the moment, and I'm particularly good at finding weird products online. It's one of my skill sets, and I found it. I found it pretty much within a minute?
Less than
a minute. And what it is, Austin will hold it out straight in a minute, and I'm so proud of this.
You can tell I'm really in it now because like you all the GoPro action has gone out the window. You're getting tissue right up in the screen. That's just how it is.
So this is Lacoste, which, sounds like it sounds Lacoste.
Until you see this shape now. When I hold it out, you'll realise that it's the Lacoste crocodile or alligator, whichever it is.
Look at
there.
it.
And we're like, oh, okay, we get it now.
No, I got it from the beginning. You got it now.
No, you didn't know it was Lacoste from the beginning, I'm saying.
Anyway.
Special. 195.
So this is a runway piece.
That's Lady carrying it.
This is a runway piece. It's obviously their logo. It's the little alligator crocodile in a leather. It didn't have a price on it though. But I knew it was special. I looked up comps. The comps were sitting at £200. Retail was 400.
Sorry to interrupt. This was a Kurt Geiger bag we bought from a charity shop recently for I think £5 or £6, and sold like a week later for how much?
150. But this is the outlet special one. So the Union Jack Red there was an made for outlet interpretation of the full price one.
Quickly going back to the alligator, it was £375 originally runway. They're going for around about £150 to £200 now. And when we finally got to the till, because there was no pricing on it.
They tried to find it so basically don't be afraid to ask. You can always say no. So the lady phoned one of her colleagues who tried to find it on the website so that she could price it. Couldn't find it on the website, had no tags, had nothing on it. Well, she couldn't find the logo tag either, which we have now located. Anyway, it was a bit of a kerfuffle, and she said, "Do you want it for $7.99?" So I said, "Yes, I do. Yes, I do, sir."
Ding, ding, ding. I will take a slice of that.
My only problem is I'm deeply in love with it because it's a leather crocodile.
No, it's because it's weird. That's why you're deeply in love with it.
Wouldn't it be so cool just to go to Sainsbury's with a crocodile?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. I guess so. This was All Saints. They had some All Saints jewellery. This one wasn't priced. Later on, I think I found a grouping of it. and they had like
A grouping.
a grouping. They had like a bracelet, they had a necklace, they had a few different bits
Oh,
and
they were
pieces.
quite cute, actually.
They were really nice, like £15 each as well. So I think once again for gifts or whatever, they'll be useless because come Christmas time they're gone. I say
Yeah,
gifting, you know.
buy now.
I could spot that boxer smile off.
This is a really good example of what we were talking about in loads of our other videos. So when you buy sunglasses at TK Maxx, don't forget to pick up a case, guys.
Even if you don't have your case.
They supply you with a case. So what they like you to do, where you can, is match your sunglasses to the case on the end. However, when you can't, just pick up a really good one.
They were the Kenzos to match that box.
They're super cute. They were £30. I've always done particularly well with sunglasses in TK Maxx. However,
we saw a pair today, actually.
If you buy them in the winter on the final markdown sale, and we went a year ago. We went to Cardiff, and we bought maybe 30 pairs of sunglasses.
I reckon around about 30.
All
maybe
under £10.
Yeah, and if you think that seems like a lot. But like it's about 250, 300 quid. And I would say I sold a pair today. Most pairs on average sell between £75 and £100.
Yes.
Every single pair.
Yes. At the time, they had a lot of Stella McCartney sitting in TK Maxx. So we bought a lot of Stella McCartneys. We bought some Bottegas there.
Yeah, we did. Max Mara.
We found several really good pairs. When you go into summer in the sunglasses section, they tend to reduce less because obviously you're at the height of peak of sunglasses season, and the prices sit quite high. But once you start getting into winter, buy off season, and will be golden.
Golden, I tell you. Speaking of golden, get ready for this transition.
Oh yes, I found these. Very proud of myself. Golden Goose Deluxe brand. For anyone who doesn't know, these are the same people that make the Golden Goose trainers that look like you've run a marathon in.
And when they're brand new, they basically look knackered. They have gaffer tape on. They have stitching missing.
So this is the corresponding clothing brand. These trousers retail about 300 quid. Am I correct?
Yeah, around about that.
And they wanted £14.
£14, they were, weren't they?
Pieces like this are always going to sell because they can be worn all year round. They're very capsule wardrobe, they're versatile. Once again,
they're at £95 on eBay right now.
I think that's cheap.
It's very cheap. Cheap.
I'm going to put more.
But what I would say is, once again, they had the best combo in the world. It had a gold label tag and it had a clearance tag. That's what you need in life.
Yeah, Cavalli Class.
Yeah, Cavalli Class is kind of, once again, a diffusion line.
It's an older diffusion line, which is making a little bit of a shining
resurgence. But
once again, it was cheap.
But it was a bit meh.
I just didn't think it was vibes, if I'm honest.
There's a couple of pairs of Theory trousers in a moment.
Theory is a really expensive brand that's really being pushed by influencers at the moment.
I think Theory is pushing to the influencers.
Yeah, but I thought the price point was a bit too high on these. These were £43, and although they're a lot more expensive than that, full price, they're not the coolest trouser in the world. I think they would be
a trouser, isn't it? It's nothing,
they're not styling and profiling.
Yeah, I agree. So that's pretty much. I think that's pretty much our TK Maxx
to see what we got and to
video.
See how they sell. You can follow us on our Instagram, which will be linked down below, but it's just at the Luxury Pickers. It's right on the screen now if you look. And that's our little trip to TK Maxx.
If there's any other questions or anything you have to say about TK Maxx, please comment below, and we'll get back to you.
Be nice. Be kind.
Bye.
Love you.